are so excited to have you joining today's online WEN event. My name is Elsie, and I will be your MC for the morning. I'm looking forward to enjoying some time together with you. Today, we have guests from different places around Vancouver, BC, as well as other cities around Canada and international guests. In fact, let's just take a minute to type in the chat where you're watching from and share a fun fact about your city. Let me tell you a little about WEN, Women's Heart Engaging Network. As women, we all tend to have full schedules. Many of you are working, taking care of your kids, and some of you may be juggling family responsibilities as well. How many of you are impressed with your ability to do so many things at the same time? Because of our busy schedules, we are all often wish that we had more time to connect with other women who are in the same pace of life as us. WEN's group was founded more than 10 years ago for exactly this reason. We are a multicultural group that puts on events like this in different languages to connect at a heart level. Let's watch a short video about WEN. At WEN, we believe every woman has a story, and we are interested in hearing these extraordinary stories from real women. Today, it's a pleasure to have Audrey Giesbrecht as our special guest. Founder of Horo Kids Clothing, Smile Ambassador for Operation Smile, Audrey's journey in motherhood has taught her powerful lessons of what it means to learn on faith. Horo Kids Clothing was born with the goal of bringing a smile to a child, giving back to the community. Audrey will be interviewed today by Jeannie Tulio. Jeannie is a friend of Audrey and is an early childhood educator. She is the manager of Duke Street Early Learning and Care Center. We invite you now to sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful story.
Hi, Audrey. Thank you so much for being here and your willingness to share your wonderful and inspiring story. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you live now, and a bit about your family.
Well, thanks for having me today, Jeannie. I'm so excited to share my story. Well, I was born and raised in the Philippines from a small town up north called Pangasinan. And now I live in downtown Vancouver with my family. I'm married to a German, and I have two very energetic boys. And yeah.
What was your life like before you became a mom?
My life, well, it's very different. My life before becoming a mom was, well, I'm always very spontaneous, and I love adventures and very carefree. Mm-hmm. And before being a mom, most of the time I just look after myself and like doing a lot of stuff outdoors, seeing friends, and the things that I enjoy being just married woman. And we were actively involved in Alpha before. So yeah, so those are the things that I was doing before becoming a mother.
How did becoming a mom change your life?
Becoming a mom changed my life big time. Well, first, when when Hugo was born, it was like, having your freedom to go out, and having a child, then you just go out to restaurants and eat because you have a screaming baby. And having my second son changed it more. Because Roman was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate. So for those of you who don't know about cleft lip and palate, it's like they have a bigger smile. So from his nose up to his mouth, it was pretty much open. And so that was huge, because like having a son born with cleft lip and palate, it needs a lot of help. I was scared how to feed him. I was scared of the unknown. I was scared of not knowing how people are going to respond seeing a child who looks different. It's not because, it's still a beautiful smile. It's just that it's very different to what the world is used to. So that was a major change because it kind of, I found someone, like a different version of myself, like along that journey that I never knew existed.
Even in the midst of peace, you must have had lots of concerns, right? Like, what were some of those concerns? You already shared with us that how people would look at him.
Okay, I think I will start with the story of like how my little journey of like, from being pregnant up to like where we are now. And when when I found out about Roman's cleft lip and palate, I was away and I got a phone call from the doctor. We were in Kelowna at the time. I got a phone call in Vancouver that I had to fly back to Vancouver immediately because Roman, they've seen something in the ultrasound. And there is a timeline between then and I think in Canada legally there is an option if we want to keep going with the pregnancy or not. And I was like at the last week of that time frame, so they need me like now in Vancouver to get the news done so I can go to BC Women's. And that was a very scary moment, finding out about, like I've never met anyone who was born with cleft lip and palate. I know someone, but it was it's someone when I was growing up, and I remember he was being bullied because of his, in the Philippines they call it ngongo,
Yes.
and kids were like chasing him and saying ngongo, 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 and it's like it was a horrible feeling to see, like this person, he never got married and he never had families, and all his life people have been just bullying him. And coming back to the doctor, when they told me about cleft lip and palate, he was the first person that came to my mind. I'm like, what am I going to do? And Google wasn't really a big help because it's like, you go type Google bilateral cleft lip and palate and all you see is like all these pictures. And when you're pregnant, you have that, like your hormones is there, like you're scared. And so what I did at that time was like, they told me like, you have an option to do this. I told my husband, I'm like, well, I can't talk to them. You talk to them. So he did. And he said, Audrey's not going there. We're gonna like, is the baby healthy? And they said the baby's healthy. And you know what? We will proceed with the pregnancy as long as the baby's healthy. That's all we need. And we're gonna keep going. So around that time, I didn't tell, there's probably only less than 10 people that knew about what's going on. I got off social media because I just didn't, like people would ask, how are you doing? Like I just didn't want people to ask me. So I kind of have my own world at that time, but I have these 10 people, including my family and people in my life that I really trust. And we prayed about it and like just to have peace. And of course, at first we're like asking for a miracle that the doctors are wrong, that the baby will come out without cleft. But I think the closer I get to giving birth, I don't know, for some reason, I told Walt I wanted to go to the cleft clinic and talk to the team, and Walt was like, no, we're praying about this, and it's like, the baby's gonna, like, he's gonna be born without cleft. I said, no, I think I'm at peace. I think this is my miracle, because at that time, I'm at peace that whatever happens, whether with or without cleft, that I will be okay. And at that moment, I don't know, like I've always been reserved and always working at the background. I don't want to be at the spotlight. And at that moment, when I have that peace, and I came to the clinic, I went back home, I was talking to one of my closest friends, and I told her that I feel like he's going to be born with cleft, and I'm at peace with that. And I know that this story is going to change not just my life, and I'm hoping that it would empower a lot of women and families around there. One day, I don't know how, because right now I'm grieving and I'm in pain and I'm scared, but there is that hope that I see that my story is going to change not just our lives, but other people's lives as well. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Can you share with us when Roman was born and the journey that started with your family?
When he was born, my fear turned into strength. Just the moment, like in the hospital, like the moment they hand Roman to me, I look at his face and there's my little boy with the big wide smile. I hug my little boy and I'm like, this is my second time to be a mom, and I don't know how it's like to love, like, you know, when you're a mom, you have your first son, your first child, and you're like, I love this little boy, and then you have your second child and like, I love him again, and like you just know that your heart gets bigger, and it's like, you know, seeing a child that needs help. There's a different strength that came out of me that I'm like, okay, I will protect you in any way that I can, and there's that strength that came out of there. And yeah, I think from there, it's like the first year was a blur. Going to every week, we go for taping, like, you know, we fix the cleft because it was wide. The first 4 months, getting into the surgery was hard. And even going out, because people, you know, oh, baby, and then they'll see he looks different. And, you know, like you can see their reaction, they're caught off guard. But you can't take offense from that, because like it's not that, you know, they're judging your baby, but I think what I've learned from that situation is like I have to explain, oh yeah, my son was born with this, and you can see that, you know, like there is compassion to everyone that sees that. I think when Roman was born, I've learned how to be more compassionate. I learned to be more understanding, and like when people say something, it's not, you know, they don't mean to hurt you, but sometimes they're just caught off guard and they don't know what to say. And most of the time, people means well. Yeah.
It's amazing how God prepares our heart, right? Yeah, with these things. Yeah. Okay, so what does life look like for Roman and your family now?
Well, now that most of the surgeries are behind us now, things are changing. Of course, I'm still dealing with 2 energetic boys under the age of 5, but I would say that I'm loving the season that we're in. You know, like as I launch Euro Kids, where we give back to a portion of our proceeds to Operation Smile. And at first I thought launching something like a baby clothing to give back, I thought it's just like, okay, we're just going to give back and help a child smile on the other side of the world, people who can't afford it. And of course, it was in the Philippines. There's so many children born with cleft lip and palate. So Operation Smile was actually founded in the Philippines, and it's so close to home. And when I launched the brand, I thought, okay, you know, we'll make more smiles. We'll keep helping other children and families that can't afford it. But I think along this journey, like Euro Kids, it's not even 2 years. We're turning 2 in October. But I think the biggest impact for me and for my family is the community that we built. The amount of I would say more so women, because like the moms, I talked to a few dads as well, but there are, this is kind of like the dream or the vision that I had when I was crying, not knowing what to do with Roman and with my child, to now it's like seeing that, okay, this is a mom during Cleft Awareness Month, which was last month, you know, this is our 2nd year to run it, and a mom would reach out, like, I just got diagnosed, and, you know, I'm scared. And just to be able to like reply back and like, let's say, hey, listen, it's not an easy road, but it's going to be okay. And like, I've met few moms as well from last year. So they gave birth now, and then their kids are 1, and they're raising awareness as well. And you can see them empowering other women as well. And I think that is huge, because it's like, you know, the little impact, the little seed that was planted in me, and I shared it to another person, and this person makes another impact, it makes it explode.
Yes, yes. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. Okay, so all of this experiences opened your eyes to the needs of others as you have related to us walking this journey. Can you share with us a bit about this, more of it, or?
About the journey. It's a very interesting journey because it's like, when you see, we always take our smiles for granted. Like sometimes we don't want to smile because we're grumpy or like we're just having a bad day, and it's okay. As a mom, when I saw Roman before the surgery, like he couldn't latch because everything was open, and I see other friends who gave birth almost the same time as mine, and like everything is like there's no cleft, everything is intact, and part of me was like, I wish, and then I stopped asking I wish, and I'm like, what can I do? How can I help, and how can I make it better? And you know what, this is what I have, this is what I have to deal with, and we only have one life, and we got to make the most of it. And I'm like, how can I make my life at this point enjoyable? How can I make my son's life, how can I help him live life to the fullest? And I'm like, okay, one thing to do is awareness. Like, if people are aware of what people are going through, there'll be more compassion. Like, like even like bullying, I think hurting people hurt people. And I think when they know that, okay, I was like, when they say, why is your nose like that? Why is your lips like that? And if you say, because I was born with this, and there is that moment of like quietness, like, okay, what are you gonna say, right? Like, I was born with this. It's not like I chose to be born like this. And so I think it's just with this journey, it's more of like seeing the world in a very different perspective. It's instead of like having the I wish, having like, what can I do?
Yeah, there's a purpose for everything. That's amazing. You were able to see God's purpose. Okay, so we know that your faith in God is a big part of your story. Looking back, can you share with us how He made a difference in this journey and in your own life personally?
I think it's this is more like, this journey is about trusting God completely. Like, no matter how hard I prayed that Roman will be born without cleft, that's not God's plan for my life. And I think, and I'm very grateful. If I can do it over again, I would worry less, because it's like he's really in control. When you say he's in control, he's really in control, because like it's probably like, this is my ring and this is all I can see, and then God sees everything. And like, if Roman wasn't born with cleft lip and palate, I won't be doing what I'm doing right now, and I probably won't be even sitting here and sharing my story. And the Audrey that I know from 4 years ago is a very different Audrey that I am today. Like, I just feel that my full potential is not there yet, but like God has been using every step of the way to like reach more women, reach more people, and I think you just have to be like, what I've learned is like, you just gotta let God. Yes. And if you let Him take control of your life, like, the very important thing is to listen, because sometimes we just talk. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. But if you go to that place of like silence and just listening, or like, what's gonna happen next? And sometimes you don't get the answer. For me, it took me months to get the answer. I'm like, I've been begging Him to like, okay, please fix this. But no, that's not His plan. And His plan is always the best.
Always, always. Okay, so do you have some encouragement that you would like to give other moms who are walking through this right now?
Yes, I have lots. But I think in my personal journey, sometimes what you need to do is like take a break. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. Those things are normal. And sometimes when you cry, and when you go to a low point in your life, that's when you can go up. But like, don't stay there for a very long time. Always look for solution. It's like the world doesn't end there. How can you make things better? Like, if you change the way your mind thinks and the way you see things, like, you always have to see the best of how you can make in a situation. Like if you're instead of like, oh, I'm stuck in this problem. No, you're not. What's the solution for this? How can we get out of this? How can we make this beautiful? Sometimes, like, you see a table, all you need to do is put a flower and it looks prettier. So it's like that. It's like, and I think the biggest part too is like having a support group. Like, I didn't have a big support group at that time. I have few, but these are the people that are close to me and people that I really trust, and I know that they prayed and fast for me. Like we were, they check on me almost every day. How are you feeling? How are you doing? And the support system is huge. Like have someone that you trust, and don't be scared to ask for help, because people, like, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm bothering them, but you know what? When you ask for help, you'll get help. Yeah.
Even with God, whenever I have problems too, that's what I always tell him, Lord, what are you trying to tell me right now? I want to see the bigger picture. Audrey, thank you so much for sharing with us your beautiful story. It's really inspiring to all of us. We are so thankful for Audrey's story today, and we know that her faith in God has had a big impact on her life. If you are watching today and would like to experience the same relationship with Jesus that Audrey has, you can simply pause and pray this prayer with me right now. Lord Jesus, I want to know you personally. I open the door of my life and receive you as my Savior and Lord. Thank you for forgiving my sins and giving me eternal life. Take control of my life and make me the kind of person you want me to be. Amen. Now we will hear from our MCLC about some potential next steps.
Thank you, Audrey, for sharing your beautiful story. As Jeannie mentioned, we would love to connect with you more as you explore your own faith journey. Here are some of the possible options you could take as a next step to connect with any of this. Just click on the comment card button that is popping up in your chat now. Alpha Virtual Course, it is a safe space to explore your faith. It is a series of virtual meetings via Zoom where there are videos that invite reflection, stimulating dialogue. It is a space that allows you to speak openly about what you think about your faith and relevant aspect of God without being judged. Let's see a short video of what Alpha is and the schedules available in different cities and times.
Every day we ask so many questions. What should I wear? What's the weather going to be like? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are those bigger questions, like why am I here? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this?
I had arrived at an answer to the most important issue that we humans ever deal with. Is there a God? And I had arrived there without ever really looking at the evidence. And I was supposed to be a scientist.
At 28, I had gotten many of the things that I thought I wanted. My girlfriend was on the cover of magazines, I had a Beamer, and I was so unhappy. It was a realization maybe that I would never find happiness where I was looking for it.
I think for so many years, I always just strived to be strong in myself. All I needed was me and my buddies and, we'd be like invincible. But the truth is, none of us are.
And I found purpose, I found meaning, I found hope. God took something so broken and made it a beautiful art piece.
Alpha is a place where you can be yourself. You can say what you think and challenge everything. No question is too complex or too simple. And what your point of view is as important as anyone else's.
We are going on a journey together, an adventure to explore the questions of life, faith, and meaning.
Life group is also a friendly way to share your life, joys, and challenges with your friends in the faith. We have several life groups options showing up on your screen now and would love to have you join us. In person or online services, Coastal Church has online services on Saturday at 5 p.m. and on Sundays at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific Coast Time. If you do not have a church, or if because of the unique times you are going through, you have not been able to attend, we invite you to explore Coastal Church online or in person if you live in Vancouver. Again, to connect with any of these groups, simply fill out the comment card link that is appearing on your screen now. Filling out the comment card will also allow us to let you know when we have more events like this one and provide opportunities to connect with you. We also leave a space on the comment card for you to leave your opinion and some feedback for our speaker. It has been a pleasure to have you all today. We hope to see you again at Alpha, a life group, or an upcoming WEN event. And remember to bring a friend next time. Have a nice weekend.